With almost 3 years of being a citizen journalist and 68 years of being a patriot, with 2 prior channels on this venue censored, and my current videos mirrored on 24 other channels and 4 venues, of course, I have become personal friends with many of you. Over 475 of you are in my phone contact list, many of whom I have had lengthy conversations with. You have become as much a part of my life as I have become a part of yours. As many of you know, I have a very interesting background. My late father hailed from Trento, the town where the true story of the musical The Sound of Music was based and filmed. And before he immigrated to the United States, shortly before the Nazis occupied Austria, his house was just down the road from the Von Trapp family residence. My father fought in World War II, and I am a first-generation American Vietnam veteran. I held a top-secret crypto SSAR clearance with an MOS of 3ABR 30650/F. I was, for all intents and purposes, Milintel, a spook. My unit was 1876 Com Squadron, Tan Son Nhut Air Base, Republic of Vietnam, attached to MACV, Military Assistance Command, Vietnam. And when you're a spook, you tend to get involved in some rather spooky business. And you see and you do things, sometimes against your better judgment, in the hope and belief of an ultimate good to become of it in the end. My military background and clearance, along with the fact that I was recruited from the ranks of a civilian contractor who built radar and missile targeting microprocessors for the U.S. Air Force, got me into IBM the day I was interviewed. I retired from IBM after 25 years. I have led a very interesting and exciting life. I worked undercover for the New Mexico State Police in 1973 and for the New York State Attorney General Medicaid Fraud Control Unit in New York City. I am a personal friend of several One Police Plaza detectives. 5 friends of mine perished on 9/11 on the 103rd floor of the South Tower. They were employees of the banking firm Fiduciary Trust Company, who I serviced check sorters for when I worked for IBM in Manhattan. By the grace of God I love with all my heart, mind, and soul, I escaped that false flag disaster. I support and assist local law enforcement in my town, several of whom work with DEA, and I'm neighbored to 3 of them, all within a rock's throw, and one who is a retired PBA president, and another who is a very charming but no-nonsense female forest ranger. Her dad has coffee with me every morning while our dogs romp in the 14 acres of apple orchards out back. I busted a multi-million-dollar scheme that exploited veterans in a New York State prison. Just Google 2001 HL0066 and see. I busted Medicaid fraud in New York City, and there is an article and transcript link in the description. As a result of my involvement with that 18-month investigation, I met my good friend, the late Mr. Arthur Bernclau. He was founder and director of Veterans for Constitutional Law, and my assistance in the writing of amicus briefs helped to pass Senate Bill 3421, which affects over 800,000 disabled and wounded veterans. I circumvented the attempt to traffic a young child whose solo photo was taken in school by a teacher who gave the child the excuse that his face was blurry in a class photo. This was over 24 years ago. So I knew about such things then, or I had minor indications of something, but I had no hard evidence to prove it. And who was I to prove it to? Who, in retrospect? To the FBI? The FBI, who has been involved with the CIA and all of this shit, like, forever? Did I know then how deep the rabbit hole went? The answer is no. Do I know now how deep the rabbit hole goes? No, I don't think anybody knows. There is a consensus of ignorance on my part that is shared by anyone who has been down that pit for a bit. And when you've been in that pit, literally in the belly of the beast, you tend to see things and do a bunch of stuff you never thought you could or would do. You do it against your better judgment with the belief that it is for a better end. Your belief doesn't change the fact that you've been lied to, and what you thought all your life to be the best country on the planet to live was a mainstream media Hollywood illusion, and now everywhere you look and any rock you move has a snake under it. You get angry at yourself for being so fucking stupid or so blind or so naive that your brain couldn't wake up to what your eyes were seeing and your ears were hearing and the hairs that are standing up on the back of your neck were trying to tell you. You try to communicate what you suspect and what you know to be true from your own experience, but most blow it off and ask what the fuck you've been smoking, hesitate a few seconds, then ask if they can get some. They think they're informed. Some patriots in name only, closet libtards on this venue claim to know. They know jack shit. They wouldn't know the truth if it jumped up out of the diarrhea of bullshit they live in and bit them in the ass. Instead of meaningful dialogue, their claim to fame and their pathetic subscriber count and like-to-dislike ratios prove their soap opera vitriol is based on fake info posted after I exposed the tarmac meeting recording. They claim to distrust the deep state government, but they cite information allegedly posted by that government on .com pages to disparage patriots. These people are more pathetic than the traitors who pay them. They say they want the truth, but the truth is they couldn't wrap their puny college-indoctrinated millennial PhD pile-higher deeper intellects around the truth, and their soy boy limp-wristed demeanors and their pussy-whipped beta-male personality precludes them from coming even close to handling the truth. And so this is why I believe the demographics of this channel is mostly comprised of older folks who have lived through the 60s and witnessed the assassination of a president. It takes a traumatic experience to finally wake up. But when you do finally take that red pill, you're like Adam in the Garden of Eden. Now you can know good from evil, but you can't unbite the fruit of that tree. You can't unknow what you know. You're awake in the American dream. And it's a fucking nightmare. And you find a community of people who have experienced what you have, who have somehow shed their shield of cognitive dissonance and have come to the same conclusions that you have. You have common ground. Your mission is clearly spelled out by the Word of God and the Constitution. You never thought you'd spend your retirement literally on the precipice of having to again honor an oath you took 50 years ago to defend your country from real domestic enemies instead of the fake foreign ones you and your father before you were sent overseas to fight. But you rest in the camaraderie of thousands of subscribers who, over time, have become your family and your anchor of sanity in an insane world co-inhabited by demons in the flesh, straight from the pit of hell. You know that these pissed-off patriots will stand by you in the trenches of Revolution 2.0, and that one of you might draw the short stick from the lot, thereby having the fortunate honor of having to fire the second shot heard round the world. For we battle not against flesh and blood, but against flesh and blood that is inhabited by legions of demons, and to defeat them, their hosts and their bloodlines of the hosts must be eradicated with extreme prejudice. When you see cockroaches in your kitchen at night when you turn on the lights, the problem is not as bad as you think. But when you see the little ones, you're in deep shit for real. No compassion and no mercy can be shown to them. They must be terminated with extreme prejudice, and it must be entirely complete. Obviously, Noah's flood missed a few of the Nephilim. It is our duty to escort them off the planet that belongs to us. I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for your prayers, your words of encouragement, your phone calls, and your support. Tony and I would not have made it this far, nor can we continue without you. It was perhaps wishful thinking and fatal optimism to believe that the battle could be swiftly and easily won by the election of a man that makes JFK pale in comparison. The battle rages on until the Lord of Hosts makes his long-awaited, trumpet-heralded appearance. Until that glorious day, we must pray and stand our ground. The Great Awakening has begun. The father of lies will not go peacefully into that long good night. He wants war. We're going to give it to him with all the wrath of pissed-off patriots. God bless you all, and Godspeed.